Oh, I'm so excited. I get to talk about the Friday Truck Series Championship race again. Look how excited I am. So excited. Yeah, the penalty report, the final penalty report of the year, I think, maybe, unless someone goes crazy in the off season, which I hope doesn't happen. Anyways, the final penalty report, I hope, of the year has been released, and we're going to have to talk about the Truck Series Championship race again. But before that, yeah, it's the postseason officially for NASCAR. And every year, it's becoming an annual tradition. I think we've done it 2 times, maybe 3 times now. We go back at the end of the season, and we watch my preseason NASCAR predictions, which for the most part go pretty wrong. So everyone laughs at me, I laugh at myself, and I enjoy it. I enjoy making fun of myself. I really do. So when do you want to do it? I made a poll in the community post. Please go check that out, and please go vote for which day you want to make fun of me or laugh at me. Right now, Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern is currently leading. If that doesn't work for you, you want to do a different time, go vote for another time. Anyways, let's get on with this. So Corey Heim and Carson Hocevar were in the championship race for the Truck Series. It all started with about 30 to go when Hocevar just was overly aggressive and wrecked Corey Heim. Well, he spun Corey Heim out, collected Stuart Friesen. Heim got a little bit of damage, which did hurt his race pace. But other than that, it wasn't terminal. It wasn't, done on the spot. He was able to continue. Well, as I said, Heim, he had probably the best truck of the field, but unfortunately, due to the spin, due to getting a little bit of damage from that incident, it really did hurt his race pace. And as the run went on, he went backwards. Hocevar was coming forwards. They eventually met on track. And with 4 laps to go, when Grant Enfinger seemed to have the championship in hand, Corey Heim retaliated. Now, he did not admit to retaliation. He did not go on his interview and say, yeah, I wrecked him. I took him out. Screw that guy. I meant to wreck him, because if you do that, you're going to get penalized. For sure, it's a slam dunk. If you're vague enough, if you don't admit it, then, if you blatantly lie, then, there's no guarantee of a penalty, and that's what Heim did. I can't remember the excuse he gave. I think he said, I can't remember. It was a bad excuse, though. It was a lie. Let's be honest. Heim intentionally wrecked him. I think we could all see it. Here's what the press release said. NASCAR officials issued behavioral penalties Wednesday to Craftsman Truck Series driver Corey Heim for his actions in last weekend's season-ending race at Phoenix Raceway. Heim was fined $12,500 and docked 25 points in the Truck Series driver standings. The penalty falls under the heading of NASCAR Rulebook Sections 4.4.B and D, which refers to the NASCAR Member Code of Conduct. So it kind of talks about the incident a bit, and then it says, Heim explained in post-race interviews that he had lost control of his damaged truck as Hocevar attempted to pass him. But NASCAR officials determined Wednesday that a review of the number 11 team's radio transmissions indicated that Heim had violated the member guidelines, specifically in 3 areas of the rulebook. Number A, attempting to manipulate the outcome of the race or championship. Number B, wrecking or spinning another vehicle, whether or not that vehicle is removed from competition as a result. And number 3, any actions deemed to compromise the safety of an event or otherwise pose a dangerous risk to the safety of competitors, officials, spectators, or others. Who are others? There's competitors, obviously. Officials, that makes sense. Spectators. Who are others? Very curious. Who is others? Who am I missing? I don't know. But yeah, so it talks about kind of what happens after that. The race recap basically after that. But the biggest impact it has is the driver's points and Corey Heim's wallet. The driver's points, Heim ended up finishing 3rd after the race. This 25-point deduction puts him to 4th in the driver's standing. So ironically enough, he ends up behind Hocevar in the point standings. But yeah, I mean, we talked about this on Friday. I don't want to talk about that race more than I have to. Heim had every right to be mad at Hocevar for what Hocevar did. Hocevar was idiotic for what he did. But you can't intentionally wreck someone like that, especially in the championship race when all of the attention is on you and 3 other drivers. You just can't do that. The penalty itself, the 25 points, I think is fair because this looked almost the same as an incident we saw in the spring at the same track in the same turn. Remember back in the spring in the Cup Series, Denny Hamlin intentionally wrecked Ross Chastain. He held the wheel straight, put himself and Chastain into the wall. But the difference here is that Denny Hamlin went out of his way to admit that he intentionally wrecked him. Hamlin in his podcast said, yeah, Chastain messed with me one too many times. I held the wheel straight, put us both in the wall. And then Hamlin got docked. I think it was maybe 25 points and fined $50,000. Yeah, he got fined $50,000, got docked 25 points. So this is basically the same punishment. Yeah, I know the money is different, but you have to think about it this way. The Truck Series gets paid a lot less than the Cup Series. So $12,500 to $50,000. Yes, that is a different number, but percentage-wise, there's a chance it could be the same. I'm not a math expert. I'm not a math genius. I honestly don't want to do the math, but it might even out. So the number's bigger, but then because of percentages and stuff, they might actually even out. But yeah, so I think that penalty makes sense. Yeah, Heim didn't admit it, but it was pretty blatant. And honestly, the outcome of the wreck was worse than the Hamlin-Chastain incident, because other trucks were involved, and because it ended up, a truck didn't finish the race. I think Chastain and Hamlin ended up finishing that race in the spring, whereas this, Hocevar didn't even make it off the backstretch. This happened entering the backstretch. Hocevar didn't make it to the end of the backstretch, so it was a little bit worse consequences in terms of the race. And it also impacted a championship. It manufactured the ending of a championship race, which is bad enough as is. This championship format is stupid, though, so it shouldn't have to come down to that. Anyways, we ranted about that on Friday. You remember that? If you weren't there for that, Friday at midnight, so I guess technically Saturday at that point, I was ranting for about 15 minutes about how much I hate this playoff format. That was probably one of my worst rants in terms of how brutal I was. I didn't say any, I might have said a bad word or two, but, I felt like I was pretty mean. So, yeah. I don't want to think about this truck race anymore. I don't want to think about this playoff format anymore, but unfortunately, every year I have to, much to my displeasure. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. That's all I got. As I said, I feel like it's a fair penalty. Heim intentionally wrecked him. He also took a truck out of the race. He impacted the end of a championship race, and another truck got involved that was not involved in the incident or involved in the rivalry conflict. And yeah, we kind of had a comparable situation back in the spring with Hamlin and Chastain. So that's my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts on it. As I said, go vote for what day you want to make fun of me. We'll have a good time with it. We got other off-season videos, obviously. We'll do some post-season stuff, but also there's still a few news stories we're waiting to happen. Who's going to be in the 10 car? Who's going to be in the 16 car? I've got an idea from all the reports and stuff, but, until it's official, we don't actually know. So thanks again for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, see you in the next video.